Hello and welcome to Force 13's live events. My name's Nathan Foy, and over the next hour or so, or maybe a little bit longer than that, depending on what we've got to talk about, we're going to be talking about all the activity that's going on around the world. I'm sure you know what it is by now, but if you don't, let me familiarise you with that. What we have active right now are two significant typhoons. We have Typhoon Goni and Typhoon Atsani, currently located in the Western Pacific. The Philippine name, of course, you may be more familiar with, Ineng. That's for Goni, of course. That is over the Philippines right now. Not made landfall as such, but it may as well have, I guess, is the word to use. We also have Hurricane Danny and Tropical Depression 3C, which has formed in the Central Pacific. I'm joined this evening by Skype friends, team members, John, Jason, Daniel, and is Devon there as well?
No, he's not picking up.
Oh, I see. That's unfortunate. How are you, John?
I'm fine. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be on for long, so because I think I've smelled dinner. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be on long.
Oh, I see.
I'm not sure. I might be on. I don't know, but I might need to check on that. So
Okay,
give me a
fine.
minute to check on that. But still, hi, world.
Daniel, hello?
Hello,
Hello.
I'm good.
I didn't even ask. We're also joined by Jason. Hello.
Hello,
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good.
Is Australia sunny today?
Yeah, it's pretty much sunny today.
Pretty much sunny.
Yeah, there's
Or
no
absolutely
rain
sunny.
at all. Oh,
I
it's
see.
just partly cloudy.
Okay, well fine. Devon, hello?
Hello.
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 How are you?
Good enough.
Good enough. We'll take that. Who's got the dog, or whatever it is? I can't see it properly from here. That is Devon, isn't it? No, you fool. Anyway. What you're looking at is the world tropics, the tropics at a glance. Let's tell you what's going on right now then. Hurricane Danny in the Atlantic, 80 miles an hour, a small storm, but it's doing okay. 80 miles an hour, the intensity. Typhoon Goni with winds of 120 miles an hour and a pressure of 944 millibars. And Typhoon Atsani, winds of 130 miles an hour and a pressure of 937. For some reason, those numbers don't seem right to me. I'm just going to double check those. They are correct.
When's the stream ending again? 8 o'clock?
Well, maybe later than that, but it will be at least 8 o'clock.
I'm
We also...
gonna leave for dinner at 8:15.
All right then, John. Thanks for telling us. We also have Tropical Depression 3C, 35 miles an hour, likely to be our next named storm in the Central Pacific. Invest 94C near the international dateline, and Invest 97L in the Atlantic, which could possibly become Tropical Storm Erica. So, who wants to
It's
start?
probably to become a hurricane.
What was so funny?
Okay.
No,
I would like to start on this actually.
Go right ahead.
I would actually like to just I'm gonna bring up a post here because it brings up a really good point, because I know that Hurricane Danny right now is pretty much trending all over the place on social media right now.
Right.
So the first thing I'd like to say is that the National Hurricane Center, they put out this forecast cone, right? And this cone is supposed to represent how 67% of tropical cyclones are supposed to move through a given area.
Okay.
Obviously, the errors increase as days go out, and they're only able to have this accuracy of predictions out to 5 days. Okay?
Okay.
What I have noticed recently is that the media has been completely blowing up this system and saying that it's going to be the next hurricane to affect the United States.
Well, that's typical, isn't it?
Yeah. First thing I'd like to say is that's a lie. because Tropical Depression 3 is more than likely going to be the next hurricane that affects the United
That's
States.
very true. That's very true. From
Um,
Hawaii there.
and that's actually within the NHC's forecast cone.
Hmm.
And I should have said TD3C. Sorry, but the second thing I'd like to say is that it's almost nearly impossible to accurately predict what these storms are going to do past 5 days, especially 7, 8, 9, 10 days out. It's really difficult. We don't even know if it's going to be entering the Caribbean, which if it does, it's probably going to die because El Nino, and or if it's going to end up turning north of the Greater Antilles and possibly developing in good conditions around the Bahamas, or we don't know if it's going to go directly over the Greater Antilles and just completely dissipate, or maybe even pull a Frederick Georgia. So we just, it's just not close enough. It's just not close enough to where we can accurately say what this storm's going to do, whether if it's going to affect the United States or not. I've seen a bunch of different things that people are like getting really worried up here in the East Coast, thinking that this hurricane is somehow going to magically affect them in like 12, 13 days. It just, the thing that I have to say is that it's going to be a good 2 weeks before the storm even comes within 1,000 miles of
Devon, can I just interrupt you for a moment?
New York City.
Because, Justin, if you don't mind muting yourself by any chance, because there's lots of commotion going on your microphone, and it's sort of silencing Devon a little bit, believe it or not. But go ahead.
I'm just trying to get it's just a little rant that I have here, and
yes.
what I'm just trying to say here is that you don't really know if the storm's going to affect you unless you're within the actual uncertainty cone. And even if you're within the uncertainty cone, unless you're really pretty much right down the middle, you still don't know if the storm's going to affect you or not. So all the media blowing up about this apparently hurricane that's supposed to hit the United States, it's just too far out before we even know what this storm's going to do. So,
though we are watching, of course, the other area of interest in the Atlantic.
Right, obviously, what could be potentially Hurricane Erica right behind Danny. Which Cape Verde storms are typically rare, to say the least, in El Nino seasons. You don't really see too many of them develop into hurricanes.
But we're also looking. Which one were you talking about there? I was talking about the one near Bermuda.
Oh, I was talking about the one that's going to be coming up behind Danny. The one near Bermuda that I'm not 100% sure of. I don't even see the low pressure that could be coalescing into a subtropical or tropical storm. So I'm still kind of confused about that.
It's a high chance though from the NHC.
Yes. What do we got here? 60%. That's medium, isn't it? Yeah, medium.
Nearly high.
Yeah. Medium.
Sure. What you can also see right now is another image of Atsani. That's right now. It sort of looks exactly the same as yesterday.
Yeah, only the eye appears to be, like, bulged. I don't know if that's, like, noticeable or not.
How do you mean bulged?
Like it's elliptical, noticeably elliptical. If that makes any sense.
Well, we might check that out on the real Earth map as well. We'll let that load. But we'll go back to Goni as well, because we can also see that storm further towards the west. Philippine name Ineng, of course. And it appears the eye is disappearing on that.
Yeah, that storm's been degrading quite a bit since it started to move towards the Philippines, which is certainly good news
Yeah.
for the small islands to the north of the Philippines. As long as Goni continues to weaken towards land, it's certainly excellent news. Maybe if it could even weaken beneath a Cat 3, you
Yeah.
know, the weaker the better news right now, especially since I don't know exactly what's been going on, but the area has already been hit by Super
Taiwan.
Typhoon Newell a couple months
Oh,
back.
of course, the Philippines. Yes.
Um, so
Um, any remarks about Atsani's incredible dry eye and its continuation?
yes, one thing I've noticed is that ever since that this really huge dry eye has come up in the storm, it doesn't seem like the storm structure has really even changed
Hmm.
in the past 48 hours, and I think it might have something to do with possibly dry air being entrapped in the middle of the typhoon somehow. I don't know if every single time I look at it, I'm thinking that there's doubts as if
Yeah.
maybe that is being caused by something else.
Okay.
But
I'm just Justin asked if he can turn on his mic now.
Um, if he wants to speak, he can turn it on, but otherwise, there seems to be a lot of some noise in the background. I don't know.
Uh,
I know I'm talking a bit to start the stream.
No, that's fine by me at least. But John, sorry, Justin, we were just hearing lots of sounded like shuffling about earlier. But there we are. I'd just like to report that, just looking at latest sitrep from the Philippines, 70 families, 202 people were preemptively evacuated in parts of the Philippines because of the typhoon. So the first of
are
maybe a
they
few evacuees. Oh, looking at the National Hurricane Center's map here for.
are they are they anticipating an Niki like storm, but not as intense?
Well, let's talk about this now, Davin.
Yes. This is. I wanted to pull this up because I wanted to pull up the cone to really verify my point here. Basically, there's the actual line where the National Hurricane Center, or in this case, the Central Pacific Hurricane Center,
Same thing, really.
believes this storm is going to go. And this is usually, then this track is usually based on a model consensus of basically different um, algorithms that try to predict what nature has in store for us in the future.
Yes.
So models like the GFS, ECMWF, CMC, GFDL, HWRF, ships, they're all certainly in a factor here. But one thing I would want to note here is that, like I said, notice that one of the I can't remember for the life of me what the name of that island is, but one of the 7 main islands of Hawaii is currently in the cone of uncertainty at 5 days. Now, this doesn't guarantee that it'll
That's
be
the island of
affected.
Lihue, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that. Lihue
I,
or something.
but right now, the cone of uncertainty does include that island,
And
and
its small island next to it as well. I'm sure that one has a
right,
name
the
too.
couple small
Nihao, I
islands
think.
plus the Midway Islands as a whole up this way.
Yes, yes,
And
indeed.
what this basically means is that they should certainly prepare for the storm to potentially start coming their way, but know that it's not a guaranteed hit. Is That's what I'm basically trying to say here. Now,
But the models have been trending. I mean, the I don't think there's any or many models that are not predicting a passage through the islands. Don't know what, depending on intensity, but it seems quite likely that the storm will pass through the islands somewhere.
I've seen models. I've seen some models. I can't remember which one, I think it was the CMC that kind of predicted it to have a similar track to Guillermo, and pass just to the north of the islands and kind of follow the curvature and then die out. And then there's some models like the GFDL, which I'm going to try to get up here, which predict a rather severe storm, potentially getting even stronger once it gets to the north of the Hawaiian Islands.
3E
But this
showing
show,
up on my imagery
the
right now.
GFDL
Well, let's
now-
take a look at Devon.
I don't know if you're able to
Yes.
see islands here.
Just
I'm
about.
trying to figure out where the island is myself, because they're kind of hid in the contours, but
I
this
think on
is-
that image there, it's right on top of it, Devon. I think that's like,
yeah,
yeah.
right here, right on top of it. It's at 100 knots exactly, and a pressure of 945 millibars.
So that's a Category 3 storm.
And that's basically right on top of it. Yeah, because here's Oahu here.
Yep.
And then the GFDL has a continuing strengthen all the way up to a Category 4. So, kind of like an Iniki-like scenario. But then there's the HWRF model
Yeah.
predicts I'm pretty sure a slightly weaker system if it'll allow me to play it. There we go. Maybe.
Well,
And
I've
they
actually
should-
got
It's swinging way out and then recurving here,
yeah.
going to the last image, and it shows it at 90.4 knots, so 110 miles an hour at that point.
Though on my screen right now, Devon, I don't know if you want me to to show it to you, but I'm showing it to the viewers right now. You can see another variation of the HWRF model, which is predicting a peak of 101 knots, and very much similar to what you were talking about just then, swinging out and then curving back towards the islands.
Right. And right here at 126 hours, which is 6 hours after the NHC's model, the NHC's forecast track ends. Basically, the storms to the south and west of Honolulu, Hawaii. So that's basically the model scenario here. But that's definitely something I wanted to clarify.
Sure. Nomiad says, will 3C become a major hurricane by the time it approaches Hawaii? I think we've sort of answered that, or at least one or two of the models have, but I guess your opinion, Devon, do you think it will get there?
It's I would even say right now it's a bit too far out to determine that. I think it's a bit too far out to determine it. According to this graphic, sea surface temperatures are 28 degrees Celsius, so that isn't an issue. I don't know about how conductive the shear is, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that there's not really much dry air to worry about in the Pacific.
Okay, well, who's
So,
trying to speak?
I mean, the conditions are there, but I think it's maybe a bit too far out to say.
Nate-
Will it become a hurricane? More than
Devon!
likely. Major hurricane? Don't know.
Let someone talk.
Nathan, could you refresh that streaming page? I added some more content on it.
Wow, nice. Thank you, Jason.
Can I speak now?
Yes, John, you certainly can.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm just wondering, could Danny be another Andrew due to its...
Big question there.
Yeah, because it's a very small system, number one. And number two, you got where we're anticipating it to go into the greater Antilles. Please kill me if I said that wrong. Don't kill me, sorry. If it goes into Lesser Antilles, and you think that after its passage, you know, if you remember seeing the other day that patch of 31, 32 degree water in the Atlantic, seeing that patch, you think Danny could re-strengthen over that patch of water
Well,
if
still
it
remains
survives.
the same, doesn't it, Devon? with the scenario with that, because the warmer water's lying well to the north of the Lesser
Yeah.
Antilles.
Right now, what I'm looking at is that the NHC forecast track, the official NHC forecast track, has it tracking over the northern Lesser Antilles and then going pretty near the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, and looking at a landfall on the Dominican Republic potentially a little bit after 5 days out.
But
So
could that not
actually,
happen?
if this track really reminds me of any storm, it would be more of Frederick rather than an Andrew. But I'm not trying to say that this thing's going to enter the Gulf and strengthen and whatnot. It's probably more likely to dissipate over Hispaniola
Yeah,
if it's over there.
and if not there, then Cuba maybe.
If
But could
Hispaniola
it?
doesn't do it, Cuba should.
But could it
But
have a northern nudge to its track? And
Well, yes, that would make the difference, wouldn't it? If it did move north of those islands.
if it did move north of those islands, it's potentially on the cards. It's just too far out to really know. That's the best answer I can get.
Come back in 5 days.
I would say maybe
two.
2-3 more days. The answer might be a little bit more clear.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we are. That's Danny. I don't know if anyone else wants to talk about Danny and maybe how it's looking right now.
It's looking good on satellite, but that was this morning.
Yeah, it did look good this morning. I'm not sure about now.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. In a minute.
Yes, please, because I don't seem to be able to at the moment. You can sort of see it there on my screen here.
Get visual.
I think he's still doing the same as he was before. I'll try and get a... Well, I think John's got a better look at that floater imagery there. Once he clicks the right button.
It's loading.
Where is it? Where's Danny?
Reading image files.
And we'll need to talk about Goni soon as well, because that is a real threat to the Philippines right now, and sort of stalling.
Its eyes kind of disappeared on the satellite. I mean, I might want to try looking at it, maybe BD or something like that. I'm just gonna pull that up.
Get the aviation one, the AVN.
I like that one too, but I want to see what the Dvorak one says.
Okay.
It's BD, I think, yeah. Is that the BD, Devin, or is not? That's not the BD.
Yep, sure is.
Its eye kind of disappeared within its central dense overcast. Since I saw that. Let's find an AVN just because Jason said so. Here's AVN. Aviation.
Okay, so what can we deduce
Well-
from this imagery here?
Well, Danny's eye has disappeared within a bunch of central dense overcast, it appears.
That would make sense, to be quite honest.
Would make sense. However, it is still intensifying.
What are we looking at right now? Whose screen is this showing Goni there?
That's probably Jason.
This is my screen.
Oh, it's Devin's.
I just wanted to take a look at this graphic to see this graphic estimates what the wind swaths are for different strengths of winds. The 35 line would be gale force winds, 50 line would be 60-mile-an-hour winds, 65 line would be hurricane force winds, 80 line would be so on and so forth. But
Is this
see, currently gales from the system are affecting the northern tip of the Cagayan province here, as well as most of the Filipino islands here.
Luzon, probably. It's affecting Luzon?
Yeah, northeastern tip of the Kakian
The
province.
Katanes Islands.
Which ones we're looking at there? Sorry, I wasn't paying
I was
attention.
I'm really the Batanes Islands.
The ones furthest north are the ones that are just off the coast of Luzon. That's the Calayan group of islands on the left-hand side and the Babian group on the right. And then it's the province of Cagayan, which has the little bit that juts out on the northeastern tip of Luzon there. Devon, Nomiad says maybe Danny is going through an eye wall replacement cycle. Is that true?
Very unlikely.
Have not. I'll need. There's what I'm gonna have to look at. There is the microwave imagery of Danny. That's the. So let me pull that up.
Well,
If they-
I doubt it's an eye wall replacement cycle. I
Cameron
doubt it.
says, how far from the equator is Danny? Was it something like 10 degrees north?
Well,
12 degrees
12
north. It looks
degrees.
like 12, 13 degrees north.
12.8. I'm looking at the tracker, by the way.
Let's see here,
Track.
13 degrees, a little bit more than 13 degrees
Yeah.
north right.
People who are looking at my imagery right now, you'll be able to see Danny. Well, it's more like Spot Danny on this wide shot because it's so small. You'd be forgiven for mistaking it with just another tropical wave, but it is a hurricane. Really small. Devon, how did it manage to be so small?
That's the only way it managed to become a hurricane. Because when the storm was a much larger tropical wave, as I was saying before, the dry air was significantly affecting the
Yep.
system. But since it was able to shut off its outer layers and become a much smaller, more compact system, the dry air was technically much further away from the outflow bands, which allowed Danny to strengthen rather quickly, I should say, up to a hurricane.
Sure.
It's probably one of the smallest hurricanes in history.
Yeah, I would actually put it in that category. Gales only extend out 70 miles from the center, I think. Not even
60.
60 miles from the center. My.
Smaller than Andrew.
Yeah, because Andrew would have been 100 miles up from the center.
I just want to report right now what the warnings are for the Philippines. Obviously, we're tracking tropical storm, Typhoon Goni, a Category 3 storm. It remains. It is sort of. I was looking at the imagery not so long ago, and it appears to be stalling over the. Well, it's not over the Philippines, but just offshore. So we do have warnings in effect. Let me just get them up again. Signal 3 warnings in effect for the Batanes group of islands, northern Cagayan, including the other islands as well, the Babian and Calayan group of islands too. So Signal 3 warnings mean that winds of 121 to 170 kilometers per hour is expected. In miles per hour, that's around 75 to 105. Signal 2 warnings in effect for the rest of Cagayan, Northern Isabela, Kalinga, Apayao, Abra and Ilocos North. Signal 2, 61 to 120 kilometers per hour, so that's around, what would that be, about 40 or just less than that, to 75 miles an hour. Signal 1 warnings for the rest of Isabela, Ifugao, Mountain Province, Bengray, La Union and Ilocos Sur. Sorry about any pronunciation difficulties, me and Devon already covered that yesterday.
Hello.
Hello Daniel.
Anyways,
Yeah, I think I might be going soon.
I see. When
It's a
soon?
bit late, and
Bit
I don't
short.
know, about 2 minutes.
Oh, I see. Well, Daniel, thanks very much for joining us this evening,
Yeah,
and keep watching.
okay. Good night.
Bon nuit.
Night.
Toodle pip.
Fuel pip.
Good lord. That's Daniel. Devon, back to... is that you showing us the mimic imagery there?
yes. Just to take a look at for an eye wall replacement cycle, and what I can conclude from this is that it has although the eye has dissipated, it certainly still has a very strongly reflective eye wall.
Hmm.
So it more than likely is not undergoing an eye wall replacement cycle.
It's probably trying to do something.
Yes.
Do you think it's peaked yet? That's an interesting question.
Out here in the Atlantic, I think it's still strengthening a little bit. I think its peak will probably be around 75, maybe if it gets lucky, all the way up to 80 knots.
90
Um,
miles an hour.
But I don't think it's going to strengthen into a Cat 2 out in the Atlantic. I don't see that.
Oh, right.
Devin, do you think that Danny could have some big fluctuation, not big, minor fluctuations within its intensity because of its size?
Well, any cyclone of any size is subject to fluctuations of intensity.
But smaller storms are more susceptible.
Right. Smaller storms are obviously more susceptible. It's very possible Danny kind of quickly shot up an organization there. I think after getting named, I think weakening as much back down to a tropical depression when it lost all of its convection.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden bouncing back 24 hours later to this hurricane.
You didn't expect that, did you, Devon?
I kind of saw it coming.
Oh, really?
As much as I hate to say it, a downside, I kind of did see it coming. I didn't want it to happen. I really did not want it to happen.
Yeah. Well, two other things I want to talk to you about, actually, everyone. Typhoon Goni, of course, Philippine name Ineng, stalling right now, right next to the Philippines. That can't be good news, can it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think rainfall is going to be a significant issue there?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. Do you have radar in the northern part of the Philippines, perhaps?
I'm sure they have radar somewhere, but it'll take me some time to try and find it. I'm not sure if Jason could perhaps find it for us and stick it on the streaming page where we can have a look at it, but I've no idea.
I don't know either.
As far as the microwave image from Goni, kind of showing its northern eye wall eroding, as if that's any surprise. And none of the really high reflectivities in the microwave imagery has come over any part of the Philippines yet. That's not to say, of course, they're not getting any rain, but I do see what you mean. The storm sort of stalling out here towards the end.
Absolutely. Can't be good news. I'm just trying to find radar imagery at this point. I think I'm getting closer, but I'm not there yet.
If there's a contest for the most yawns on air, I would win.
Oh, of course you would, followed by Daniel. There's now just left us.
Microwave imagery, it doesn't really appear to have stalled out.
I do now have radar imagery for the Philippines. Let me just get that up if I can. Might take a moment. Might take more than a moment. I think you can see it on my screen right now, yes. Here's the radar imagery of the Philippines, just showing my screen now with the team so they can also see it. This is what it's showing.
A white dot on a blue screen.
Is it?
That's all I'm getting right now. Okay. There we go.
There
okay.
we are.
Yes. So certainly the outer bands are affecting the northern Cagayan and even Isabela province right now.
Yeah. Possibly even as far as Aurora, actually, but not, well, only light rain down there. But it is encompassing the whole of the island, reaching the western side there. Well, not the whole island, but the whole northern part of it. You know what I mean. And the centre of the storm, is that the centre just off to the right there, just out of its coverage zone?
Yeah, it should be.
I
It
thought
should be.
I had it in my mind that it was just a little bit further west, to be honest, but well, there's the radar
No.
can't lie.
It is. It is. It's not a very large storm, actually. The gales only extend out, I think, 135 miles from the center.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, like 130 some miles. So, for the most part, to put it into more understandable units here, the gales don't really extend too much further than 210 kilometers from the center. So,
I wish we had this kind of imagery in the Atlantic.
Oh,
I think we all would.
yeah. I don't know anyone who wouldn't.
The Naval Research Observatory, they got access to this kind of imagery, they just won't release it.
Yes.
Until the end of the season.
Yes, that's when they'll release it.
I've adjusted the streaming page again, Nathan.
What have you done to it this time?
There was a problem with the water vapor thingies, so I fixed it.
Yes, indeed. There you can see 94C and 3C. We've already discussed those. Danny, in the centre of the Atlantic. Look how small Danny is.
It's tiny.
It's a
Who wants to
tiny
find
li-
it?
Very,
It's a tiny little hurricane. It looks lost.
yeah.
Want to
It-
play
it's-
Find Danny?
Well, I don't know what was harder to, find. I don't know if it was Hurricane Danny here in the middle of the Atlantic or Hurricane Carlos earlier on in this year.
Carlos
Both-
was a very interesting hurricane.
Have we looked at
Not
the
a
wind
very
shear?
organized one.
Yes, sorry, we were about to, but
Oh,
I didn't quite get round to it.
okay.
So let me load it up. First of all, beginning with... Oh, hold on. Here we are. The Western Pacific. Showing both the storms there. So you can see Goni on your screen here. Let me get the close-up there. Goni on the left-hand side. High wind shear around it, it has to be said, especially to the north. So when it does get going to the north, it's not going to have a fun time, is it? And around Atsani, not as good as it was looking yesterday, but still not too bad. Wind shear is increasing ahead of it, though, isn't it? Or is it? No, sorry, I'm reading the graphic wrong there. It is on a slight decrease, sort of all over the place, isn't it, there? But on the whole, I think it's looking okay for Atsani in the next few days. Probably a gradual weakening trend there. Let's take a look at the East Pacific. We'll skip back 3 hours. That should sort that problem. So this was a little while ago. 6 hours ago, actually. You can see... Now, where exactly are our two systems? 3C more than anything, probably in... I'm not sure where you'd put it on there, but in between it and Hawaii there is a low shear area. That's probably going to lead to its initial intensification, but when it reaches Hawaii, very high amounts of wind shear, which will certainly weaken it. I guess those preparing for the storm, I suppose it will all, I guess, depend on how fast it moves, Devon, because if it's a fast moving storm towards the north and doesn't beat about the bush and reaches Hawaii, it will be pretty strong, don't you think? But if it slows down near the islands and allows the wind shear to get a hold of it, then we may see some quick weakening there. Unless, of course, it moves.
That all depends on what the size of the storm is going to be.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the Atlantic. There you can see Danny, still indicated with the tropical storm icon. I don't know why. Can we go forward?
Fail!
Oh, there we are. Hurricane Danny. There it is. With a high wind shear to the north and west. Still low in its vicinity, though, so not too bad for Danny right now. But that's not going to last forever. Having said that, on the other side...
Seems fair.
On the other side, north of the Greater Antilles, near the Bahamas, over Cuba even as well, there are very low amounts of wind shear. Don't know if you've noticed that, Devon.
I have. It's definitely concerning, but like I said, just a bit too far out to start saying where it's going to head.
Yeah. Are you
You get
actually...
Let's go to the streaming page for a sec.
Yes, we're on it.
Okay.
Showing the
So that's
Saharan layer.
Yeah. And that tropical wave off Africa.
Yes, yes. And that has a 30% chance of development last time I checked. I don't know if that's changed. That's in the next 5 days, and it had a 10% in the next 48 hours. I don't know if that has changed or not. I'm relying on one of you guys to tell me.
I haven't seen those numbers change now.
So there we are.
They might change in like the next 15 minutes or so, but I haven't seen them change.
Yep. Okay. Just taking a look at some of the comments. A lot of them, none of them directed at me though. Go ahead, John.
Did you scroll back where you were, Devin? Did you scroll back a bit? I noticed there's this little feature on the right side of the picture. There's that little feature.
Yes, that's Invest 94C.
Yes, this is 94C right here. This is Tropical Depression 03C. The Hawaiian Islands are right here.
Yeah, 03C, right near the edge of the globe there.
But whatever this invest is, right where you had your right there.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks quite good. To be honest, that could be our next Westpac storm.
Yeah, I thought that not so long ago.
Oh, Central Pack.
It's still actually moving east at this time, John.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still moving east.
Yeah, fairly slowly, but.
That's weird.
I thought that when I first saw it on last night's show.
Yeah, we thought, well, this thing looks nice, and then we took a look at the Central Pacific, and they were like, oh, wow, it's an invest.
Yeah, that's true.
It almost looks like a tropical storm, but that's just me.
But hey, we saw it
the
before.
vorticity is poor with it. That's the only issue. It looks nice, but the vorticity's poor.
Oh dear.
I mean, the winds are weak.
Martinez says, I think the wave by Bermuda, not sure if it's a wave, should be Erica. The one about to exit Africa should be Fred.
It's nice to think that.
Jason's showing me the streaming page there, and actually, it's the Central Pacific Hurricane Center are impressed. 60% on that 94C.
Awesome.
It certainly is. Any ideas on where that's going to go? I think the HWRF had it on a gradual northwestward trend.
Not 100% sure. I haven't really looked at that.
Let me just check that just in case it's changed. But last time I saw, yeah, still predicting sort of a curve to the north and then towards the northwest. Most models aren't predicting anything of it, though. There is one. Hold on. The ship's model does predict a 50-knot storm, which would be 60 miles an hour. But the HWRF itself isn't very pleased at all, saying only 27 knots. Barely a depression.
I'm excited when the Hawaiian storm names get used.
That's very soon.
Oh, you really want Oho, don't you?
Oho, Oho.
Oh no.
Oh no, that's another storm name to be used.
Yes. Terrible.
Terrible behavior.
Shocking.
Just to switch my screen here, I don't know about what the wave of the African coast looks like, because unfortunately, Goes East does not cover that. But you can clearly see here on water vapor. Here's Hurricane Danny, with what could be best described as the dry air asylum just to the north of it.
You think Danny has ingested some of this dry air?
It's gonna start to in the next 6 to 12
I'll
hours.
tell you something, Devon. If it wasn't for all this dry air, would you have been? Is that? Do you think that might be a
If it
defining
was,
factor in whether we'll see an active season or not? It's trending towards not, probably, but
yeah, the Saharan air layer has been absolutely nasty this entire season. Um,
is
if the dry air was not there and Danny was in a moist environment, this thing would have probably been around Isabel's strength by now.
really?
Yeah, because the shear is very conductive. The sea surface temperatures are conductive, and if the moisture was conductive, we'd be talking about a Category 3 right now, no doubt in my mind.
Crazy.
But the dry air has just been making the storm not be what it could potentially be. Obviously, a storm the strength of Isabel would only be good if it doesn't hit land.
Yes, yes, indeed. Actually, there are now 2 areas on the National Hurricane Center's website. This is just updated. There are 3 areas that may develop. 60% chance in the next 5 days of 97L, of course, near Bermuda. But they are also forecasting 2. Obviously, it's going to be the wave behind the one that's just emerged off Africa that they're also predicting in the next 5 days. They're giving that a 20% chance. The one that's just leaving Africa, 30% chance still in the next 5 days. But they've got that on their radar now already.
Oh my. Yeah, so, yeah, I did look at the NavGem model, and they did have a Fred coming off of Africa right behind Erica. So maybe the Cape Verde season will not be dead like it's supposed to be
Well,
in an El Nino year.
yeah, but do you think any of these storms, Danny, Erica, Fred, will get rid of some of that dry air for future storms, perhaps?
Oh, well, we'll find out in September, won't we?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that also if you ever look at the NHC, let me share with you. If you ever looked at the wrong screen, sorry. This one. I'm still getting used to 2 screens, by the way.
By the way, Eastern
this
Pacific, I'd just like to point out first, Eastern Pacific, a 50% chance in the next 5 days for a feature, around 120 degrees west, west, and also 20% chance for another storm later this week, 50%, in the next 5 days, 20% on that.
This one?
Yeah.
I can absolutely see why they're giving this a 20% chance of development. Look at this right here, the last couple of images here, right behind the wave that's about to come off of Africa.
We're not able to see that at the moment, Devon. We're just looking at John's screen for the time being.
Before you hang on.
Yeah, just a moment, Devon, because John was going to explain us something about the Atlantic.
This one here looks like it's based off the area of development beginning the curve in, like Sandy did. Not to the degree, you know what I mean. It's looking like it's beginning the curve in the development area. It might affect somewhere around here.
Yeah, New England should be watching that, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I should be watching that.
Yes, that's you, John.
Yes, I'm going to get out of here.
Don't worry.
Okay, Devin, you got the floor.
Floor's old for Devin.
Or the screen, so to speak.
Yeah, there's Africa.
This is Meteosat 9 that usually monitors the waves coming off of Africa.
It's actually Meteosat 10. They haven't changed it for a long time.
Oh, my God! I'm sorry. I feel like I have offended all of the French people that designed the satellite.
Lol.
But well, I guess that there could be worse things that I could be doing, like insulting all the Filipinos that are about to be hit by Goni. But anyways, you can see here the two very distinct waves. Here's one that comes into the right side of your screen there, and that's the one that probably has that just came up and has the 20%.
The
That's
big
a
one at the
very
back
nasty
there.
wave
Yeah.
right at the end there. And this here, which kind of appears to be stationary, but should probably start moving off, that was probably the 30% chance right there. So, and you can also see Danny getting its act together here as well.
Very good.
So that's for the eastern
I'm just
Atlantic.
getting-
Do you think that that the 97L is going to develop?
I think it's got a very good chance.
You can see it
Um,
on the stream page as well.
I
See it
think
what?
the 97L will develop. I don't know what it will develop into, and I don't know what is developing even. Because I'm taking a look at this radar, I don't even know what's radar. Wow.
So A, B,
Wow.
and C.
I don't. I'm not really sure what's supposed to be developing here.
No, it's clearly that little circulation near Bermuda, surely.
Yeah, but here's the floater image. The circulation that's near Bermuda.
Oh, I see. It's that,
It's
it's that
a lot
thing below it, isn't it?
This is just like a smiley face. It's Bermuda.
It is a
It's like the image is trolling you.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, mind if I squeeze you guys with something like a, let's say, guess the storm.
Really?
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 I haven't even
Wow.
gotten through all my stuff.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
What did you say, Devon?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. What the hell's that is the question.
What?
It's very familiar. In fact, I'm sure it features.
Yeah, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is.
I will probably get there in about 5 guesses.
I will give you 1 minute for your 5 guesses.
What, really? Oh, for goodness sake, what is it? I'm getting confused now.
Obviously.
4. Yeah. There's a storm down there, but I can't remember its name.
Let me fill in the blanks for you.
Nomiad says Keith. I'd be very annoyed if it is.
No.
Justin says Mitch.
Nope.
Martinez says
oh.
Iris.
That's
Which
it.
it could be.
No, it's Iris.
Hang on a second. I'm catching up.
Well, we've done it now. It doesn't matter. Just put in Iris and it's right. Congratulations to Martinez.
I didn't want to say it because A, I knew the image, and B, I'm working on a landfall reanalysis project, and that's the storm that I just happened to come across today. So
Ah, I see.
I didn't want to give any unfair advantage to the team.
Sure. Jason, tell me right now, what floater image are we looking at?
This is Invest 94C.
This is the one we were talking about before near the international date line, the one that Devon said that had everything going for it except vorticity, didn't you say?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and still, the convection's good, but I'm still not really seeing a good spin to it.
Yeah, I guess you're right in a way there. Looking good
That's
though, apart from
specific.
that.
Showing up.
Yeah, and what are the next 2 names in the Central Pacific?
Kilo, I think is the next one.
And I think it was What was it? I forgot. I think it was Loki or something.
Yeah, something
Killer and Loki.
Okay.
Okay. For a comparison of vorticity, which basically means how strong a storm is spinning, here's what a tropical storm would normally look like at low levels. That is TD3.
Right. Yeah.
And here is Invest 94C.
Yeah. Not looking so great.
Yeah, not looking as great as it could be.
And how's Danny looking on there?
Going to pull that up. You can definitely see the red and white bullseye on it.
I think you can go forward 3 hours there for the latest image.
Yeah, I can't do that for the Pacific.
I had the same problem about half an hour ago.
Now for the West Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Typhoon looks
Oh,
like.
yeah.
So it's got everything going for it except for good low-level circulation.
You're watching Force 13 live, and we're going to stay on air for a while. I'm not sure exactly how long for, but we've already been on for an hour, believe it or not. And we're talking typhoons. If you've just joined us, the latest information is that Typhoon Goni, Philippine name Ineng, is currently stalling just off the coast of Cagayan province in the Philippines. We don't know any effects of the storm yet, though we do know that there have been some evacuations. 202 people, I think it was, evacuated in Cagayan province. Goni has wind speeds of 120 miles an hour. Atsani is off towards the northeast there as well. You can see on the streaming page right now. Well, you could have for a moment there, Jason. Atsani was off to the northeast, still looking very good. And Devon, actually, I want to talk to you about Atsani because Atsani still looks really good, yet it's weakened substantially since its peak.
Yes.
Can you explain why and how it manages to look so good, at least to the untrained eye, how it looks so good whilst being so much weaker?
Well, here's the main thing, and it's all about symmetry in the storm. And when a storm loses symmetry, especially within a core, that usually signifies weakening. And in most storms, I think the eye would have been just gone already.
Why do you say that?
I think the dry air that's trapped inside of Atsani's eye might actually have to do with why it still has it. But that's just a theory. You can definitely see the cloud tops around the eye have certainly been warming since for the past 6 hours, and definitely for the past 24 hours, the cloud tops have been warming, which basically means that there's not enough downwards energy to produce strong winds, so that's an indicator of weakening. The loss of symmetry in the eye is an indicator of weakening. And also, you can kind of see the storm breaking up to the north and west due to a significant amount of dry air being there. So all these signs point to the storm being weakening, but still looks very impressive on visible imagery. I should say that AMSU predictions once had this storm actually at 190 miles per hour this morning, which, for people that don't know, 190 miles per hour would make it tied third strongest storm worldwide.
Crazy.
Behind Typhoon Haiyan and all hail Typhoon Nancy.
Yes.
But that's not confirmed.
Well, it depends, to be quite honest, because there are actually several storms that were higher than that, though most of them are disputed.
Yeah. What, Nancy? Is Nancy disputed as well?
By some people.
Some people have it disputed because the recon missions from back in the 60s tended to overestimate the storms, or it might have even been a transmitting error. When they meant 185 knots, they meant 185 miles an hour.
Oh, you think so?
There's also that case, too.
That's an interesting way to put it, actually. Oh goodness. Yeah, I was just looking at the latest information from JTWC. They say that its eye, that Atsani's eye, is 49 nautical miles wide. That sounds large to me. Is it? Is it though?
That you, yeah, 49 nautical miles wide. Now, to put that in perspective, we could fit Hurricane Danny inside of this storm's eye. And I'm
Really?
not even kidding.
How much
could
of Danny?
Most of it, I think.
We would be able to fit the entire swath of Hurricane Danny's gale force winds inside of the eye of this system, which is just a testament to how massive this system is. Gales extending out almost 400 miles from the center, I think, in the north and east. So it's an absolutely massive system, and to be honest, I think that's probably the reason why Goni has been slowing down the past couple of hours, because maybe Atsani's starting to control its track a little bit.
Certainly shows the Atlantic how it's done.
Guys, I'm getting
The Atlantic.
old.
We've had 3 of these storms that have just been absolutely massive as of late. Shanhan being the first one. Nanka
Devon.
became pretty large as well, and now we have this one.
John,
Atsani.
All right,
John, what did you
guys.
say?
I'm getting bold for dinner, so I'm going to have to leave. So I'm sorry.
Don't
I
be
wish I could
sorry,
stay.
John. It was nice of you to join us. We'll see you again soon, I hope. We're not going to be running for much longer, I don't think, so thank you.
No problem.
We'll be seeing John again soon, I'm sure. There he goes. Devon is just showing water vapor imagery again of Atsani there.
Very dry air located within the eye, and I still can't explain this, and
And-
B, I've never seen anything like this.
I was looking at the JTWC's prognostic reasoning, trying to find any information about any mention of the dry eye, and there isn't any. So
Maybe it's just something I've never caught before.
maybe it is, but I've never really seen this either. Not really. We'll have to go back in time and have a look at some of historic storm images and see if there's any similarities anywhere. If anyone does know of any instances that this has happened before in the comments, please let us know. And indeed, if you have any other questions for us before we go off air, send them in quick, because we might be going soon. We'll run away. But
We'll be running away.
now, at Sani's
Before
eye,
we run away, I actually do have a guess the storm too, but that won't be till later.
I have to point out that Sani's eye starting to look a little bit more rougher, if I can say it that way. What I mean to say is less round and more ragged.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's weakening. If you take a look at the unenhanced and infrared imagery, which usually gives you a good idea of what the eye actually looks like, you can definitely see almost like an American football shape with it, very elliptical, to say the least.
And that seems to be becoming more pronounced rather than less.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how the eye, on one frame it's facing one way, and one way it's facing the other, so to speak. It stretches and rebounds back by the looks of things.
Yeah, the ellipticalness is rotating itself, so you can kind of see that with the
Crazy.
actual eye wall itself, which is circular, and the eye, which is elliptical.
Nomiad says, could the third Central Pacific wave develop? That was the one in the middle that we were looking at. Well, we didn't really mention that one. Probably because it's not got much of a chance.
Yeah.
It is a 0% chance.
0% chance. I'm gonna guess that it has a 0% chance.
Near zero.
Near 0% chance. We'll say that it has a 0% chance. I'll say it has 0% chance in that case.
Jason, is there anything you'd like to point out?
No.
Oh.
Just looking at several satellites satellite imagery like Himawari 8.
Yeah. Fantastic
Yeah,
satellite as
Malawi.
always. Let me remind you of what the storm intensities are of all the storms we're tracking right now. Hurricane Danny, what you're looking at on your screen right now, 80 miles an hour, 990 millibars, expected to remain a hurricane for at least 2 days until approaching the Lesser Antilles. Goni, winds of 120 miles an hour, Philippine name Ineng of course. 944 millibars, stalling off the coast of Cagayan right now, and is expected to turn towards the north very soon and take aim towards the Japanese islands, if not Taiwan. Atsani, with winds of 130 miles an hour, we've just been discussing it, 937 millibars, expected to turn towards the north and northeast. There are gale advisories in effect for some of the Ogasawara Islands of Japan. Those are the only areas under threat from Atsani. Tropical Depression 3C, located in the Central Pacific, 35 miles an hour, 1005 millibars, we discussed that early on, could become a major hurricane before striking one of the Hawaiian Islands, but we don't know for sure yet. There's the latest imagery of the Central Pacific area. You can certainly see 3 distinct features. Obviously 3C on the right hand side. That is slowly, by the looks of things, moving towards the west or northwest. The one in the middle, which has not got any designation, it's just a wave, a disturbance, is currently moving west slowly by the looks of things, and 94C bucking the trend there by moving east, and that's expected to move towards the north and then possibly northwest in the next few days, and could become a minimal tropical storm, though we're not expecting much more than that. Dry air just to the north of 3C right now, and copious amounts of it, Devon.
Oh dear.
Bad news.
Yeah, that's bad news for strengthening. Probably good news for Hawaii.
Well, yes, of course. And of course high wind shear over Hawaii itself. Oh, now we're looking at the Atlantic. There's Danny, the small little thing on the right hand side, moving towards the northwest. Sorry?
Need a microscope to pick it out.
Yeah, almost. Remarkable how thinking of how that's a hurricane, but there it is. And huge amounts of dry air over the central Atlantic, over the Lesser Antilles, over the eastern Greater Antilles, and over the southern part of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands too. Though there is some more moisture in the eastern side of the Caribbean, and lots of thunderstorms popping up over Cuba and over northern Florida into Georgia as well. Devon, how's your weather?
It's been pretty rainy here all day, actually.
That's not like there.
Yeah, it's actually been a rather moist day.
Fair weather here today. We had a high of around 20 degrees, 68 Fahrenheit, and it was partly cloudy. There we are. Jason already told us his weather near the start of the show.
Right now, I currently have an RB top floater of Typhoon. And
talk us through it, if you may.
What I'm noticing here is that the eye itself, which is, I would probably say, maybe located about 50 miles to the north and east here.
But isn't it disappearing right before our eyes?
Yeah, it's pretty much going away. I mean, it still has a defined center, but the eye is certainly going away. The system is definitely southerly lopsided, which either means that it's getting impacted with some pretty significant shear to the north, or there's a dry air layer to the north of the system. I'm going to guess a mixture of both.
Yeah.
And it should also be noted that probably the typhoon force winds are probably located within these black and white bands, rather, that are wrapping around the center to the south, and to the north probably just the reds themselves, which means that this tip here of the Cagayan province is definitely experiencing its second bout of typhoon force. in a couple of months. So,
It's a bad
I mean,
place to be this year.
no, that's definitely not the place to be.
Justin says it's 72 degrees there and partly cloudy. I think he's in western New York. And Jason's showing me his map, his radar coverage in Perth,
A
Australia.
big blob of rain coming my way.
Oh no, that's not usually a good sign, is it? It eliminates
And there's
your
also
internet.
there's also possible hail later this afternoon.
Shocking. I want to go
Very
now
shocking.
so I can film it. We never get anything here. We've had one day of thunderstorms this year. That's more than the average.
Okay. So, are there any new warnings out for Goni or Atsani or anything like that?
I don't believe so, and there probably won't be in the Philippines because it's not really moving very much. There are no new warnings in effect for the Philippines right now, but let me reiterate what those warnings actually are. Signal 3 warnings for the Batanes group of islands, Northern Cagayan including Babayan and Calayan group of islands. Signal 2 warnings for the rest of Cagayan, Northern Isabela, Kalinga, Apayao, Abra and Ilocos Norte, and Signal 1 warnings in effect for the rest of Isabela, Ifugao, Mountain Province, Benguet, La Union and Ilocos Sur. I believe I have a graphic of that which I published earlier today as well, showing the actual warnings that are in effect for the Philippines, because it hasn't changed since I published it, I don't think. Actually, I've not made it public. It's still on my file somewhere.
Are there any typhoon-related warnings for Taiwan?
Not well. There are sea typhoon warnings to the south and the southeast of Taiwan itself, but overland nothing in effect yet.
Okay.
As I said earlier, a gale advisory is in effect for some of the Ogasawara Islands, the southernmost ones, the ones closest to Atsani. I expect those will be extended northwards very soon. Apart from that, there are no warnings anywhere else in the world for any cyclones.
Maybe in the next 2 to 3 days we might see some tropical storm warnings go up for Danny once it starts nearing the northern Leeward Islands.
Certainly some watches anyway, yes.
Something.
Something or other.
Okay.
I'm just sending Jason an image on the chat room which he can possibly show on the stream page.
Oh, okay.
Showing the current warnings. I don't think it's changed since then. Yes, there's Taiwan right now on the web page, showing that the storm has a 925 millibar pressure. What does it say about the warnings? But whatever it says, there are warnings in effect for the southern and southeastern seas off the coast of Taiwan, but as far as I know, not over any land areas just yet.
Okay.
Devon, would you like to load your Guess the Storm?
Okay, if you want me to.
Let's do it.
Okay. I think it's pretty easy. I think. I know one clue that's going to give it away. And
You're always wrong with this. You say it's easy and then it's ridiculously hard.
Oh, what the hell's this?
There's the question. What the hell is that? I've got to wait a minute before I can guess because that'd be unfair to the viewers, but I'm not going to give you that long because they're already 1-0 up today. Just twiddled my thumbs.
Why, do you say that you know this?
No.
Hmm.
No, I'm not. But I have a few guesses to start us off.
Okay, as always.
Yeah.
We'll see what we got here. And, of course, there's going to be plenty of oopsies.
I can think of 3 at the moment to start the guessing with. So I'm going to start now. Wadules. Is it Hurricane Stan?
See, I told you it'd be easy.
Fantastic. That was quick.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
I was hoping to use the clue. The latest hurricane in the Atlantic to cause over 1,000 deaths.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Wow,
1668 confirmed. Most of them in Guatemala.
remarkable. And that was it back in L5, was it? Or was that
Yeah.
Yeah, L5. Possibly one that people forget, maybe.
I don't know.
There's the warnings in the Philippines, by the way. That was as of 4 a.m. local time. I don't think it's changed since then, or if it has, only slightly. It gives you a fair idea of where the warnings are in relation to the Philippines. Manila right down there, probably not going to be seeing much in terms of problems associated with Goni. But the northern half of Luzon could be seeing some storm conditions. Signal 3 warnings in effect for the Batanes Islands, right up there at the top, not far from Taiwan. Calayan, Babuyan and northern Cagayan. They all rhyme, sort of.
Okay. It should be noted that the ATCF for Zero Z is out for the 2 West Pacific typhoons.
Tell us the news, Devon.
Okay. Typhoon Goni is currently located now at 19.2 north, 122.8 east, with winds now of 120 miles per hour and a pressure of 944 millibars.
Yeah, that remains the same then.
And then we have Typhoon Atsani, located at 24.3 north, 146.7 east, with winds of 130 miles per hour and a pressure of 937.
So again, that remains the same. Just those two, is it?
Yeah, just those 2. That's all that I see right now.
So don't worry, Jason. You don't have to change any text on the streaming page. But there we are. That's the latest. So Goni, still a Category 3. Atsani, still a Cat 4. Is there any chance at all for Atsani to re-intensify?
Dry air is coming really close to it. I don't see it happening.
Okay.
It's gonna struggle now.
And what about Goni?
Mm.
I'm not sure. I'm thinking also that there's a lot of dry air coming in from the north and west of these systems, so I'm thinking that they're both going to start slowly crying.
Okay, well, is there anything that we've not particularly looked at yet? I'm not sure.
I know something that we haven't looked at yet because it's completely dead.
What would that be?
Well, we really discussed much about the interest in the East Pacific, which currently has a 50% chance?
Yeah, no, we haven't really. We've just mentioned the fact, really, haven't we?
Let me see if I can pull up a satellite image on it, and then I'll pull up one more satellite image, if I can even find a satellite image of it. I'll have to do a little digging around. I probably spelled past what I was looking for. Okay.
Oh dear. We're all waiting over here, haven't we?
Yep. I know. I'm working on it. I'm terrible at finding imagery here. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I see.
Here's Tropical Depression 3C. Here is the unincorporated wave. Here's 94C. And I think this is the wave that they're talking about here that has a 50% chance, rather, of developing in the next 5 days.
The one towards the right-hand side of the screen there.
That I don't...
The
is
one
that?
that's looking pretty wide, perhaps?
I'll have to take a look at where it is. Looking at around 120. So yeah, it would be this wave here that they're saying a 50% chance for in 5 days. Not this rather ominous looking one down here, but this one.
Yes. Alright, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Okay, good.
Okay.
And the one to the right as well had a chance, didn't it? In the next 5 days.
20% chance in 5 days, but a current 0% chance in 24 hours. I did see the ECFWF actually developing this system to be a rather powerful hurricane here off the coast of Baja California Sur, a couple hundred miles to the west of it. So that's kind of in the same place that Andres, Blanca, and Dolores became major hurricanes, so wouldn't surprise me if that happens yet again.
Okay. In a moment, I'm going to do my own guess the storm.
Okay.
Aren't you in for a treat?
While you are looking for that, I am going to look for my image. No, that's not what I'm looking for. It's also not what I'm looking for.
I tell you
I'll
what,
bet
we'll take. Shall we take a short break, or do you want to talk for a while, Devon?
I haven't had breakfast yet.
Oh, terrible, Jason. Well, we'll finish the show after the last guess the storm, just for you.
Okay. We haven't really spoken much about the Indian Ocean because
Oh yeah.
well, there's nothing here to really talk about. There's really nothing much here to talk about. Some thunderstorms going across the southern Indian Peninsula right now, but it looks like high amounts of shear, and you can even see it in this map, extremely high amounts of shear blowing east to west across both the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, so it looks like Ashoba and Koman are going to be a little bit lonely for a while,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Nomiad says, could the Baja California Peninsula see another... Well, it says oldie, but I think they might mean Odile.
Oh,
I'm
deal?
not sure.
I believe I saw it well off the coast of Baja California, sir. So,
It
I
might not
don't.
mean Odile. I don't know what oldie means, though.
Yeah. No, I see it well off the coast of the Baja California. I don't see it making landfall. Potentially another Andres per se, but
Yeah.
not another oh dear. Or oh dear.
Yes. Jason, tell me when you're doing
I
it.
think I know that. I know what that photo is.
Well, don't tell anyone.
I won't tell anyone.
Devon's got to guess it. It's Devon versus the viewers. This is a tiebreaker, Devon.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you're not going to win, probably. Oops.
No, I'm not, because if it's a Pacific storm, I'm kind of screwed. I don't like being screwed because that forces me to answer a question within 5 seconds, and if I don't answer it, I lose money.
What is this?
You've never played You Don't Know Jack.
Clearly not.
That's what this is.
Okay, just a sec.
1.
1.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There, by
Five.
the way, is the
Yes.
Tropics at a glance. Danny, Goni, and Atsani, you can still see them. And here's the Guess the Storm.
Oh no. I don't see it.
I'll have to put it on my screen share then, won't I? Is that it? Yes. That's it.
And it's not coming up well.
Question is, what the hell is this?
It's not coming up well. It's coming up badly for me.
Really badly.
Okay, I think I can make out where that is.
Okay, good.
So my first guess for this would be Super Typhoon Newell. I don't think it is though.
Newell?
That's my first guess.
No.
I didn't think so.
In a word.
Okay.
Jason, could you possibly give me some sort of confirmation that you actually know this without saying what it is?
Okay, how should I give a hint? I'll post it in your thingy.
Oh, you're just going to go around it and just send it on the thing.
Okay. I certainly don't know. I don't know of many storms that have actually hit the northern tip of Luzon. Thinking maybe I don't know how far off I am here, but I'll guess Hagapit.
Nope, it's not Hagapit. So the storm is pictured there near its peak intensity. I think it was
I
a
imagine-
Category 4 storm.
Okay. Category 4.
It is the Western Pacific Martinez. Justin says Chan Hom. It is not. Martinez says Sudalor. It is not. Nomiad says Rasmussen. I think they might mean Ramison.
Ramazan.
Good guess, but it's not that.
I don't know what it is now.
I had a guess in my mind, and now I've lost, which is not good.
Jason thought he knew, but he doesn't. What did you think it was?
I thought it was Crozer.
No, not Croser. Not even Croser.
Maybe it's I don't know, Typhoon Parma.
Nope, it's not Parma. Okay, let me give you...
Is it the other one then, Malor?
No, it's not Milor either. I'll give you a little hint then. It's actually... everyone at the moment is way out. It's not of this time period.
Oh.
I'm being extremely vague about it for the time being.
It's not even of this time period.
But it's
Excellent.
It's not super recent.
Okay. Well, I guess the next storm. Well, no, that was a Category 5.
I'll also give...
That was also a
It's
Category
going to be
5.
a very, very long shot, but people who were watching the show yesterday, it was a very, very long stream, I know, but this storm was mentioned in that show. I don't know if people might get that.
Okay. For some reason, Typhoon. I think it's called Yvette.
Nope, not Yvette.
Okay.
Martinez
Then
says
maybe it's Yvonne. I can't remember.
Yvonne. No. Martinez says Hagapit. Justin says Maysack. Neither are correct.
No, not of this time period. So
Not
it's going to be English.
Well, they
names.
could have been talking about Hagapit of 2002, or Maysack of whenever it would have been.
Maybe it's Meggie? I don't know.
Nope, not Meggie.
Mm.
No.
Trying to think of what storms are out.
I'll go.
Typhoon Ruby.
No, I'll go all the way and say that it is indeed from before 2000 and when the new naming list came about. So it's going to be an English name.
Typhoon. No.
Typhoon, I
That
don't
was a
know.
Cat 5. No, that was a Cat 5.
Right. Well, this might be...
Sure, I'll guess it anyways. Typhoon Ivan.
Nope. Martinez says Zach. Nope, it's not Zach.
Typhoon Ike.
No, it's not Ike
Oh, it's
either.
hailing now.
Oh my word, it's hailing. Nomiad, the storm is not of this decade. This storm was from the 1990s.
The 1990s.
Mm.
Oh, how shocking.
Terrible.
Terrible.
This storm formed in the month of September.
September. That helps. I have no idea. Typhoon Ryan.
Pardon?
Ryan.
Devon, you do know you're correct.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's
What-
Typhoon
what?
Ryan. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Don't ask
Devon.
me what year, because I have no idea.
Devon, what year was it in?
1994.
Oh, very close. It was 95. What's really significant about this storm is that it was the very last storm to make landfall in Japan as a major typhoon, Category 3 or higher. That is the mainland, of course. The most recent to do so.
The most recent. Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty significant, I guess.
it certainly is, and I mentioned that during the show last night. But there we are. Some good guesses that came in during that, but Devon got it off straight out of the blue guess. The viewers will feel really hard done by, but
Hell.
I think at this point is where we're going to be ending the show. So Devon and Jason, I don't know if you've got anything to add before we close here.
Paddler just sent something. I'll just quickly put it on and then
Okay.
then we can leave.
I'm actually
So,
looking
this
at
thing
the
is-
storm right now. According to this, it said that it weakened to a 110-mile-an-hour typhoon when it made landfall on mainland Japan.
Oh well, it was nearly there.
But that's just what this Wikipedia says. It's close. 5 miles an hour off.
Now we're looking
What
at
the hell?
a model run here, Jason. Most of the model consensus there is for weakening trend. A peak very soon and then a weakening trend. But there's a few outliers there, isn't there? Well, two in particular. High-end category 3 from Danny.
Crazy.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Keep
What?
it clean. And
No. What?
yeah, we're looking
What?
at what time period is that for the Cat 3? As soon as 4 days, isn't it? There, 3.5 days.
What?
Category 3 from Danny. That would be.
Crazy.
That would be interesting to see. Do those models know what dry air is?
Good question. And hey, well,
Oh,
that's how we're going to end the
There you
show
go.
with the question: do the models know what dry air is? From myself, Nathan Foy, Devon, and Jason, it's been a pleasure bringing the news to you. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we'll be here again tomorrow evening, of course, to talk about the latest developments. Yes, there's Devon's thingy.
Yes, I'm still here.
Yes.
I haven't gone anywhere.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, search Force13, all in text, or you can stay right here on YouTube where we're doing updates regularly throughout the next 24 hours, of course, as well as the live updates, which we'll probably doing same time, same place tomorrow, I expect, probably 11 PM UTC. But for now, we'll just leave you with the sliding thing showing all the storms, where they are and where they're going, whatever. Good night. Devon, say good night.
good night.
Good night.
Jason said good night.
Good night,
Good morning from
sunshine.
the other side.
Yes. Okay, we're done.